what's going on, everybody? It's Ringo here from For the Culture Podcast, and this ad is brought to you by Anchor. I mean, Anchor is pretty awesome. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make podcasts, just like the one you're listening to. What's dope about it, it's free. There's creative tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. I'm actually doing this ad right now on my phone, looking at my computer, reading the script about how to make an Anchor podcast. Whoa, trippy. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your mama car, your baby daddy vehicle. It don't matter. Anchor will make it easy to get your voice to the people that matter. You can make money from podcasts as well with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Remember, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Once again, you can download the app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started. So download Anchor and let's hear the dope podcast that you can make as well. Yeah.
We are back with part 2 of episode 59.
I mean, I think as far as China's standpoint in this situation, I think they're looking at it like, oh shit, we've done this shit just like MLS. Mm-hmm. This formula of bringing in superstars and trying to build around that is not. But there's no longevity to it.
They basically made the case for MLS as far as like why you would keep a cap, and I think that there were a lot of ways, especially with how our immediate competition is Mexico. Mexico's not spending like the most amount of money in the world. Like, I think if you can at least get to a point to where you can spend probably at least 75% of what Mexico spends, you probably will have a pretty successful league. And you just have to kind of figure like how do we get there? But I think that what China did was actually pretty clever, and it's something I think that should be considered here. Of course, you always have the issue as far as like, I mean, the NBA kind of does that already too, as far as like how much you can kind of max out at. But yeah, I think it's something that should be looked at here, definitely for sure.
So I think the difference on that for me is going to be that I don't think the Mexican teams or the Mexican league as a whole is trying to even court the Cavani's, the Ramirez's, the Beckhams, the 30 plus retiring generation. They're building their own talent.
They do stuff every so often, but at the same time, it's not like how like their bread and butter to where, like they're relying on that to like bring in fans. Like they don't need to do all that.
I mean, you got more clubs in the Mexican leagues where they're like, no, we are trying to build Mexican nationals.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're very
you have a team that's basically said, okay, we're not. And Chivas,
that was their mission.
You will not
be on this team unless you're a Mexican national.
Now, when they tried that with here, I was like, yeah, that was kind of a little backwards and shit. But yeah, that's a whole different story. But yeah, I think that there's something in that idea that MLS should definitely look at, especially with people talking about they need to spend more money anyway. So that's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on, especially as far as how it affects things here. But yeah, before we wrap, of course, New Year's here. Everyone's been given their teams of decades, players of decades, all that stuff. Who is your players of decades here?
MLS?
MLS?
Yeah.
MLS?
Bro, that hurts.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Do we have to do this?
I think so.
Why?
I might just pick one from each attacker.
I mean, when I look at the list that the MLS had, I was just like, okay. But that's MLS 1.0 shit.
The funny thing about that is that I think
Am I wrong?
Kinda.
How am I wrong?
Kinda. I mean, because
how am I wrong?
It's 2 versus 1. Don't even try, Greg. Don't even try.
No, my issue is that
those MLS players, they represent MLS 1.0.
Yes. But
we're MLS 3.0 now.
True. But
so that's why I'm like,
but 3.0 is still
do we have
new.
to?
But 3.0 is still new.
Again, that's why I'm like, Because when you say the manager of the decade is Bruce Arena, thank you.
Trash.
I'll wait.
Well, trash.
I'll wait. How, Sway? How?
I mean, the trophies are there, but at the same time...
Okay, but he's representing MLS 1.0, and that's where we're not going to be successful with Bruce Arena in the future of any time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're not. He is... and culture, he is the root of the problem of what's wrong with soccer in America.
True.
I'm glad he's revolutionized the revolution. Yay.
Shout out to them for finally getting the training facility. Like, it only took y'all 25
I'm sorry,
years.
but like all those names, I'm looking at that list and I'm just like, okay, yes, Wando, he's a great story. You know what I'm saying? Like, Stephen Fry, like,
man.
Stephen Fry, like, yeah, but
here's why I think Arena got Coach of the Year, because you basically had Siggy and Smetzer split that vote up for Seattle, because MLS did vote Seattle as a team of the decade, which when you look at MLS Cups, we look at U.S. Open Cups, you look at Supporter Shields, like they basically have been like the one consistent team throughout the entire decade.
I'll give Seattle that.
Yeah, but at the same time, that was over the course of 2 managers, whereas at the very least with the Galaxy success, it was all under Arena, which I think that's what happened there. Would I necessarily vote Arena? Obviously not, because, I think that obviously he benefited from being LA and their initial transfer policy. But actually, I have a different option. It actually would be Vanny in Toronto. I think that, and actually it kind of goes to my choice for player of the decade, which would actually, and some people are probably going to hang me for this one.
Yeah, don't put yourself out there, like, bro.
Yeah, that might be the wrong
words. Don't say crucify either. They might not agree with your choice.
Yeah, I actually would put out Michael Bradley, and I'll tell you why. Because you look at where,
it's crispy.
Because you look at where Toronto was before he got there, when they were spending money blindly and just not getting shit done. You bring in Bradley. Of course, eventually after that, you bring in Josie, and then you bring in Gianvico. But even like this year, this past year, you had Gianvico gone, and you still managed to get a team to MLS Cup. And I think that, for all the knocks, honestly, for whatever happened in 2017, I get it as far as what happened with Bradley. But at the same time, ever since then, you had them go to the CONCACAF Champions League final. You've had them go to multiple MLS Cup finals. Like, the success has been there, and I think that has to be recognized as far as, like, when you have a player that changes the culture for a team. Who else has done that more?
Or you can flip it and say Toronto's done great in spite of having Bradley.
No, because I would have said that had they sucked, had they still sucked this year without Gianvico. Because Gianvico, he was in a couple of World Cup this last month, so like he's still doing his thing. But at the same time, Toronto's still doing their thing without him. So it's like, okay, what's been the one constant throughout that time? Because Josie's been hurt off and on the past couple of years. Like, he's been booing up with my girl Sloane Stevens and everything. But Bradley's been the one constant there.
So you are saying from 2010 to 2020, Michael Bradley is your man, your Captain America.
He might have to, because everyone else that I would think of has not been there long enough. Because of course we have a perfectly great argument for our guys here in Atlanta, like Joseph and whatnot. But
I mean, would you put in players like David Villa in this conversation?
That's where I was actually going to go. Who's going to be my choice?
I think he would certainly be recognized, but at the same time, you have to have that overall team success, and it's like you didn't win any supporter shields, you didn't win any MLS Cups, and I think EW helped them get off the ground, but at the same time.
So you're saying stats don't matter?
I'm saying stats go to a certain point. You still have to have that team success.
I'm just saying what devil's advocate.
I totally get that, because of course I have that argument all the time with guys who will still say Kobe is the greatest. I'm like, no. But I think that you still have to have team success. Team success should still matter when you look at how impactful a player is.
Okay, all right. Are we done with MLS now? Can I talk about what people really care about?
Sean Rod Phillips gets the vote.
He was another player I would have considered as well.
Also,
Sean or Bradley?
No,
Bradley Wright Phillips. Yeah, Bradley Wright Phillips. Yeah.
And then you got the brother. But then who's the other guy?
Actually, my top option would have been, like I said, Bradley, Sean Wright Phillips. You got to be doing Bradley Wright Phillips and actually Henry, because he finally got them off the hump as far as winning shit in New York.
Yeah, but I think David Villa had more like
impact.
Yeah,
like impact, serious impact.
David Villa's, I mean, like he was at one point like a goal a game.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, and that goes back to Joseph. Like for all the games that he missed, like the first year due to injury, or even the second year too, like he's essentially clocking like almost a goal a game, and considering like he was top 5 for this decade, only playing 3 years. Like that's insane. And
by the Greg meter, I'm just saying. By the
no,
that's the Grego meter, because your Grego meter has Brad. I mean,
I'll take that L. I will gladly take that L. Like I said, 6 years, 3 MLS Cup finals. I think one Supporter Shield. You know, considering where Toronto was beforehand, before he got there, when they were just basically not having any bit of a clue. That's a guy that changed the culture there, and that's why I would choose him.
All right, I'll respect it. I ain't gotta agree with it, but I respect it.
Who was Toronto's big player? They had a guy that they brought in at the beginning of the year, and I can't remember his name. But
they tried to turn us Boyd, and that didn't do shit.
No, it wasn't Boyd. I mean, they had Gregory Vanderbilt for like a while.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, they sure did.
I think they still do. But everyone forgot about that guy. It's their number 10, maybe.
Crap. I know he's from Spain. It's not Alonso.
I'm already falling asleep on this conversation.
But yeah, all right. How do you want? Like, okay, let's get back to place of the decade. Let's do 2 up, 2 down, and all that stuff.
No, I mean let's talk about let's talk about international game. I mean let's be real. I mean, because what gets us into this game are talking about who's better, Ronaldo or Messi. I think that conversation.
When I was talking about doing play today, I was like, okay, obviously, aside from the 1 year, they just had to be crazy and put Modric as Ballon d'Or. Like it's basically been a decade of Ronaldo and Messi. Like who else beyond them two have been your standouts?
We said it earlier. Cavani's got the goals. He's also been nominated pretty consistently every year on Ballon d'Or, but he's also consistently looked over.
I would actually say,
I think it's the league he's playing in.
True. Well, I mean, that's one of the things that kind of trips me up, because obviously we have a lot of EPL coverage here, but so it's kind of like how do you keep going to reverting back to La Liga and picking Messi and Ronaldo, especially now that La Liga is not nearly as visible as it used to be here because of the shit with BN. But I think that actually my guy would be Lewandowski.
Ooh, it's a great pick.
So I mean, I'm gonna just throw stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
So Curse, obviously, you got Ronaldo, Messi, Lewandowski. You got your Cavani that you mentioned. We forget about the early success of Barcelona, how Xavi and Iniesta were like the cornerstone.
So,
of that. So wait.
I got one there. Yeah,
those names. Because
you have to recognize Spain. You have to.
I mean, they dominated the whole first half
for 5 years or something.
I mean, that golden generation has to be mentioned. Like all those guys, if it weren't for them.
David Villa.
I think there's one guy within that squad that I think you could put as an easy option for that, especially given how the decade went. Sergio Ramos.
I was actually going to say Dani Alves.
Yes.
Everywhere he went.
Yeah.
All I do is win, no matter what. Dani Alves has the most chips than anybody in the world.
Yeah. That is true, because we are
talking about defenders now.
Yeah, and that's wild when you think about it. But when you take a guy like Ramos, that even after Spain kind of hit their peak and fell off, then you have this run with Real where they won 3 straight Champions Leagues, and like who's in the middle of that? Who's their captain? Sergio Ramos. So basically, you've had from 2008 to 2018, you basically had a whole decade of Ramos.
Okay. All right. So then
the decade.
You also got Aguero in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Sergio Aguero.
He's another guy that I would say like kind of like rather like you change you like that's a culture changer right there.
The man's breaking records literally right now.
Yeah.
Those names got to be thrown out there. Now, as far as the decade goes, I've been more of a fan of Ronaldo. I am partial though.
Yeah.
Because of his stint at Man United. So there's that there's that part for me.
Mm-hmm.
But also the fact that both of them, both Ronaldo and Messi, have that thing of where a goalkeeper is looking at them and thinking like, oh shit. Mm-hmm. They are coming at me with speed.
Yeah.
They both have that impact.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people have that thought when they see a Modric. I don't think they have
of course not.
Same thought. I don't think they have that same thought with Cavani. I'm be honest.
No, I agree.
And so Sergio Aguero, yes, he's in that conversation.
Yeah, I would think I'd take that.
Strike fear, Lewandowski. You got your your Muellers, I think.
Yeah,
Muller gets so not nearly enough shine that
the
he
man's
should.
got
I got something for you on that one. It's true.
So I think those factors got all be said, but when it comes down to it, I hate to sound cliche. I'm going to have to go Ronaldo for the decade.
I totally like it's easier to go with those with him or Messi. Just like who else beyond that? It's like it's like because they've been these two towering figures over this whole decade. It's like okay, it's hard to be like okay, like who else was actually good?
Did a bicycle kick to win a game.
Yeah.
When everybody's watching,
like he's pushing 34 and like hopping over dudes.
Did you see him have a jump man moment?
Yeah,
a week ago.
Yeah, I completely get it, and yeah.
Like so, for me, I have to say I'm more partial to the Ronaldo aspect. As far as goalkeeper of the decade, I got me the goalkeeper talk.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, but the German Manuel Neuer.
Did you see that Bayern signed over Schalke's keeper already? 'Cause basically, what the plan is there is to basically do basically was essential to equal to a apprenticeship program because they already said like Neuer's not going to be done until 2023. So you basically said, okay, we're signing our guy now. We're going to give him some action here and there, but basically, he's not going to be our full time guy for another 3 years. I'm like. I don't think that's ever been done before.
Is it a 3-year loan? Is this a new thing?
No, like it's a permanent deal. So it's like okay, like you're basically leaving a job where you're starting regularly to where you're basically gonna be a 3-year backup. Like that's just wild to me.
So I think Manuel, he has changed the game of goalkeepers.
Mm-hmm.
Development.
Clearly, yes.
The sweeper keeper now is almost like a normal.
Yeah.
You got to play out the back. Yeah. Or know how to.
The fact that, keepers all have to play with their feet now. I think he's been the keeper of the year. He struck fear into strikers.
Mm-hmm.
He's frustrated strikers. So, for the past decade, for someone who was so strong over all this time, I think he's...
I think that they've seen now that, he's had his injury issues the past couple of years. So, I think they're trying to plan ahead. But at the same time, I'm like, if I don't know why I can't think of the guy's name now that they signed. But yeah, you're talking about
Ter Stegen or something?
No, not Ter Stegen. Now I'm talking about the guy from Schalke because Ter Stegen's over.
I got you.
Barcelona. But that's a whole other thing there. How that factors in the next couple of years.
Robbery always happens, man.
But yeah, I think that to bring a guy in now so early in his career. And now you're saying, okay, that you're going to be a backup for the next 3 years. Like that's wild too. But yeah, what you got, TK?
Honestly, I'm starting the back. This guy doesn't get enough shine. Not my particular favorite player, or even on my top 30. But Philip Lahm.
Yeah, Lahm. Yep.
The guy's
right there with Danny.
The very top. Stuff. Yeah, the very, very top. The guy's been everywhere, or not been everywhere, but won everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you just...
Talk about consistency.
Yeah, you got to recognize that. And shoot, I said Mueller already as far as that guy up front. I'm gonna go ahead and throw out Frank Lampard as my kind of midfielder. Just bring it back to Chelsea. Got to. But then up top, I may have some people who do not agree with my opinion, but
first.
I think you guys will like it. Wayne Rooney for me.
Ooh.
Oh, snap.
Interesting.
Sauce.
Interesting.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, the stats tell you everything.
He has, I think, in the long run, he'll have a mixed reception as far as his ultimate legacy.
He's a player's player, though. I think he's all players want him on his team.
That's the thing. It's like he's like, I think Wayne, because I think where we're at now with this generation of footballers, Wayne represented the old grit,
old connection to the team.
Yeah, you know, he had to, like, John Terry always tells the stories of how he chose this number so he can sit next to a certain player in the locker room, and before that he was scrubbing toilets and doing kit change man duties as just like a youth player. And like, you don't hear about that stuff. These guys are incredibly privileged. I mean, like, if you look over at what's the dude at Real Madrid, the striker, that it's just ridiculous. Not Benzema, but
Vinicius.
No, the older guy.
For 20, by the way.
The striker.
I'm not tripping.
Anyway, but sure enough, it's just the point I'm making is that this new generation of footballers are incredibly privileged. They don't have to cut the grit that, you know, the older generation did from even when we were born. That same, you know, gap. And
to piggyback that, I think one of my favorite Nike commercials was the one they had way back when. This is during that whole Joker Benitez era, when they had that video of Wayne at Manchester United practice, and they needed someone to jump in goal, and he goes in and jumps.
Oh, did you
goal,
see?
And he and then he plays goalie, makes a save, puts the ball on the ground, takes it on the whole team. You know, and that's the type of thing. Like, and the thing about it, they would always say, like, when Wayne would jump in goal, they would have to tell him, like, calm down. But he didn't know anything. He only know how to play 100. And like, he played it like a real goalie. They were like, legit, he could play goalie. And I think that furthers the point of the statement you were making, TK, was that, you know, he is a player's player in the sense of he does it all. He's not above anything. You know, like you said, he'll scrub the toilets if need be, while still being the owner of the organization.
Because Rudy's about to make his debut with Derby, I guess, the next week or two. I know he's been training with them for the past couple of weeks. Alexander Nubel is the keeper from Schalke that's going over to Bayern. But yeah, I definitely do see that point of view. Like I said, Rudy's going to have. I think his legacy will definitely be far more appreciated as time goes by. I think that, you know, because of how things kind of ended with United, with Man United, I think that it's going to be kind of, I don't know, bittersweet, because you kind of got pushed to the back as time went on, especially, you know, post Ronaldo, and especially once they signed Van Persie. I think that, you know, he kind of like a man without a country, because
that. Whatever role he didn't know his position. Right. Remember, because he kept sinking back and back further and further down the field. You're like, wait, are you an 8? Are you a 6? Are you a 5? Right. Like, you was playing center back.
Right. Exactly. But yeah. I think that, you know, let us know, like, what you guys think as far as, like, who your players of the decade are, whether it be here in the MLS, whether it be in Europe or anywhere else.
I'm about to change up on you, man. You weren't prepared for this.
What's up?
Who's your wait. Team of the year or team of the decade, like team, that you were like, this team should be recognized for the whole decade. And then who is your player of the culture of the decade? You know, I think you can understand what I mean.
Yes, sir.
Player of the culture for this decade would probably be Pogba.
Okay.
Are you basing it off of influence on culture? Or?
Influence, yes.
Okay.
Definitely influence. He just came back last week and was already leading protests for a man it like that. Like for a guy who had basically been almost persona non grata for the past 3 months, and you walk in and say, "Hey, let's do a protest." Like that's the type of guy that is still aware enough to where it's like, "Hey, I know I've been gone, but things are still happening and that we need to address." Team of the decade. I think it's got to be Barcelona. I think that because up until last year, I think they had 7 or 8 straight trips to the Champions League semifinals. Obviously they had all their trips to the Champions League finals. I think they won 3 this decade, and and given their impact on the Spain national team, I can't see how it would be anyone else. Of course, you could have an easy argument for Real Madrid, given their run of 3 straight Champions League wins. You could have an argument for Bayern, given their impact with Germany. But I think that just from start to finish, it's Barcelona.
That's you too good.
Don't say Chelsea.
No, I can't. I mean, 2012 was great, but I don't think we did enough to justify the team of the decade. If I was going to throw another player in there, I would throw Hazard in the bucket. But if we're moving for a whole team, I think for me, I'm probably going to go with Madrid. I mean, 3 back-to-backs on the Champions League run.
Champions League run, man, that was legit.
Yeah, consistently being at the destination for that's the end game essentially for most players. I need to get to the top level and be visible. I got to work my way into a Madrid squad somehow. I think that's where that is. As far as player of the decade from the culture.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is. I mean, there's a lot of good. There's a lot of guys
doing work.
Yeah, there's a lot of good happening.
Guys and girls out there doing work for us.
I think I'm gonna go a little bit more old school with it, though. I'm on a hard divider.
Who do you have in mind?
It's a player that doesn't really get a lot of recognition, honestly.
Go for it.
But I think it's probably one of my favorite players is going to be Ramirez from Chelsea, man. I don't think he ever got enough recognition, but I mean, he's a Brazilian, but I just think he was always holding it down, in all the right spots. I don't want to say he's got the social impact that the Pogbas and fill in this blank here has, but just as a player of color, it was always a nice thing. Actually, I'm going to step it back. It's going to be Drogba. We're keeping it local. We're keeping it local. Man's doing big things in Africa. I love you, Ramirez, though. That's always going to be one of my favorite players.
What you got, Coach?
Oh, okay. Team of the year? I'm going to mess with y'all on this one.
Uh-oh.
Hot take.
2019 U.S. Women's National Team.
Inclusive.
Solid.
Inclusive.
Reason why? I wish she was a person of color because Rapinoe, I mean, I can't wait till we get her on the podcast. She is definitely for the culture.
Yeah.
But to stand up to political shit and to back it up and to win it in that level, I think also at this time, the women's team, they've gone through their ups and downs.
Yeah.
They've gone through their coaching changes. They've gone through their culture changes. But yet and still they are deemed as, a team to be reckoned with as far as that is the gold standard with the soccer. So I think the national team from the U.S. Women's they're my team of the decade. Rapinoe, shouts out to you. Love you, girl. Wish we get you on this podcast because she's...
Call in. just call in. We'll get you.
Call your Abby, man.
We'll Skype you in. It ain't no thing.
She is.
We got the technology.
She is definitely She is definitely for the culture. As far as person of color for the culture type of thing, it's hard for me not to think about my old boy. And I think it's because, it's been hard for us to watch him go from player to coach. But he's always been for the culture. He's been doing it. He's been trying to figure it out for how to do it. I'm going to have to go Henry. He has gone through. We're watching him change.
Yeah.
He's gone from being recognized as one of the best players, and then him struggle as a coach, but still being, to stand up against racism in all sorts of ways, and now he's dealing with it within the coaching ranks too.
Yeah.
So to see it from a player standpoint and to the coaching ranks, he's going to be my for the culture, person of the decade. How about that?
Gotcha.
That's what I.
Yeah, definitely good shout out on the women's team because they've been especially given their run of success because they had World Cup finals in 2011, 2015, 2019. They basically have dominated the women's game this past decade, and all within basically their soccer federation, saying you only deserve this much.
But you know what? They're not the only federation too. That's the thing about it. Has Jamaica gotten paid yet? Do we know yet?
No.
I don't know.
No.
We might need to do a counter on that. How many days has it been since Jamaica's been paid?
It's like start the counter.
It's like every time one counter ends, another one begins, and some that just never end. And
so many FTC sticker slogans
Good God.
in the making. The New Year's gonna be great, y'all.
That's why we're here, y'all. That is why we are here.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure we've ran super long here. We might have to split this up within 2 episodes.
It's the year of the decade,
It's the end of the year, man. Yeah, it's hard to sum up 10 years.
Ringo. This is without Ringo.
So we didn't turn this into Arsenal TV.
AJ did that enough for us last week.
No, it was good. It was good.
Before we wrap up, shout out to Bim Joyner with Atlanta Influences Everything. We actually had a chance to chop it up with him over the holidays, and we're working on building some stuff with him. So a lot of cool stuff that you'll see.
It's more than just T-shirts, y'all.
A lot more than just T-shirts. But you can get T-shirts.
There will be that.
But you can get T-shirts at ftcutd.myshopify.com. Get your shirts, get your name sets, get your hats. If you didn't get anything over the holidays with our promo code, hey, that's what's up.
I saw some people got that as gifts.
Yeah. I'm Black Buyers. Can't wait. Let y'all know that right now.
I saw that one kid got a drug bus hoodie.
Yeah, man.
I was super stoked on. I recommended that on the Chelsea Discord server.
The culture likes Chelsea. That's just so bizarre to me.
Hey man, when you bring in the new kids, it's like I'm having a hard time hating on Mason Greenwood. He's in my FPL fantasy team. Bring it.
That kid, man.
Yeah,
I like him.
I'm for the youth.
But yeah,
let the next generation roll.
The two youths.
But yeah, we had a chance to meet up with them, with Sanjay from Soccer in the Streets. Tony's compadre, and a lot of cool stuff is going to be coming this year. I'm actually really looking forward to what can come with that.
Decade, new year.
Yeah. Of course, we mentioned a few weeks back the Black Soccer Summit is going to be coming later on this spring, and we can't wait to talk about that as well. But yeah, man, y'all keep fucking with us. Let your friends know about it. Let your bays know. Let your homies know about it. We have episodes coming every week. Make sure you support the culture through listening to the podcast, shop on the website, and did Memphis?
Hey, Memphis.
Brethren.
You want to say something to the people on the radio?
That's what happened when you have kids, y'all.
Memphis, the people want to hear from you. You got something to say to the culture?
You are famous, cuz.
Sorry, y'all.
There's a whole town named after you.
But yes, make sure that you follow us on the socials at FTC
UTD.
I've conceded on one thing. I'm not sure. We're still not doing Snapchat, but we are going to be doing TikTok pretty soon.
Oh Lord.
I can mess with that, man. So don't give me a login if it's from that Snapchat, man. I don't even tweet, so
But yeah, so yeah,
I haven't even downloaded that app. I have no. I mean, I see all the things or whatever, but
Yeah, apparently we're
I'm
late.
old man and
Apparently we're late on TikTok, so yeah, we gotta jump on TikTok. So yes, be on the lookout for that soon. But of course, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, we'll always be on those, on the big three. Make sure that you check out the new merch. Yeah, we actually have a lot of good stuff coming. So just obviously over the holidays, we've had a chance to kind of reassess everything, and yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. A lot of good feedback over the Culture of a Club jersey that we did for Coach. So yeah, we're gonna be doing something with that pretty soon as well. But yeah, well, what else y'all got, man?
Hey man, it's been real. It's been a great 2019. Cheers to a great 2020.
My beer is empty, but I'm still clanking.
That's all right. It is a full one right there, my friend.
But yeah, what you got, 2K? Like, how have you been enjoying things so far? Shout out to the Atlanta Blues. I guess y'all still like them somehow.
Hey man. I don't know how many Manchester United official recognized chapters are in Atlanta, but Chelsea has 2 official chapters that are recognized here in Atlanta.
I know that. I know about
we got
Blues.
one recognized.
Yeah,
man.
I'm just saying, like, is there a second one?
See, okay, that just means you got more bandwagoners.
No, the thing
That's
is,
all that means.
It's been a long time coming, and like I was actually kind of surprised because I was like Chelsea Southeast. I was like, what is this? But like, turns out
Southeast, bro.
ATL is the location for Chelsea Southeast, and then there is Atlanta Blues as well.
For soccer in Atlanta.
So
I heard y'all might be getting a new bar over Lil 5, so.
Yeah, I think as soon as that was news you broke, man. I think you got more detail on that, but yeah, I don't know if we want to break people off of that. I'm just, for me personally, and for the culture as a representative here, I'm just excited for the new year. Lots of great things coming for you as far as what we're gonna, be presenting to you guys. Lots more content. Lots more
videos.
Chance to be
more culture road trips.
We're coming to YouTube near you, so do that thing. I guess for everyone.
Oh yeah,
like, follow.
I've been forgetting to mention that.
Or whatever.
I've been forgetting to mention that the past couple weeks. Like, if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like, we actually are uploading past episodes on there as well. So in case if YouTube is your thing, of course we'll have video on there as well. But you'll be able to listen to past episodes for the culture on there. So yeah, make sure you do that. I know he won't see it, but protect isolates the reservation.
Oh yeah, man. Don't let me go into that. But from the Atlanta United perspective, man, if you in section 135, I already fuck with you, but
we will be back on the airwaves soon. Make sure that you catch us every Wednesday. New episodes. Like I said, we'll get the videos in.
We're dropping live content down too.
Oh shit!
We're bringing you guys some live podcasts. We're going to be direct streaming to the Facebook. We'll probably get the YouTube thing lined up. We'll let you guys know about when that happens.
I got a challenge for our listeners.
I
got a challenge for our listeners.
What's up?
We got some new coffee mugs in the shop.
Oh yeah,
it's your size. Culture Over Club. I want to see some pics, videos of people cheering as they watch like some Premier League morning coffee while they watch the games.
Get some Bundesliga. Well, if y'all still watch Serie A,
what channel does that come on, Grego?
What
TV package do you need?
I read it in Spanish sometimes.
Technically, it's ESPN Plus, but I think they still do like one game a week on ESPN News.
I'm sorry, my subscription expired on the 19th of December.
You said when you finished Mandalorian, you said I'm done with y'all.
No, but somebody
playing Disney Plus now. Mandalorian's over.
That was Ringo, actually. Shout out to Ringo. He canceled his whole Disney.
After that episode, I was like, okay, what do I watch now on Disney Plus?
I was actually catching up.
If I didn't have a 4-year-old.
I have no reason.
And what is she watching right now as we record?
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Yeah. Did y'all watch Star Wars yet? We'll say that next week.
No, I haven't watched it yet.
We'll say that for next week. But yes, for Coach, for Tony, for Ringo, for Shad, for Vera, thank y'all for a great 2019.
For TK.
I think it's TK.
You said Coach for Tony.
Sorry.
It's all great.
Sorry.
All the teams, man.
But yeah, we're on overload. That's all good, though.
Yes, thank y'all for a great 2019. We look forward to listening, culturing with y'all in 2020.
Come say bye.
Yeah, man. We want to see more interaction with you guys. If you see us in the games, hit us up, man. Shout us out. We're gonna do like lots of spots. Tons of content is on the way, guys. It's going to involve your face.
I know this wrap up has been like 10 minutes, but yes, thank y'all so much for a great 2019. But yeah, well, we'll see y'all next week and